You know, I have been coaching real estate agents for over 10 years, and I can tell you one thing for sure. The biggest problem that real estate listing agents have is, drum roll please. I mean, can you guess what it is? Of course, it's lead generation. How are you getting the leads for your listings? And that's really what it comes down to. I think this is the biggest problem, and this is the whole reason why I started the Listing Collective, which is specifically just for listing agents, a coaching program where I work with some of the top listing agents around the country. My name is Chris Stafford. I'm still in the trenches, still selling in San Francisco as a listing agent, and have been for over 30 plus years. And I want to put that same information that I have right now, I know what's working right now, into this coaching program called the Listing Collective. And what I can tell you for sure is that listing agents really drop the ball when it comes to lead gen. When trying to find listings, they really get caught up in so many different aspects of it that they really have a hard time filling their listing pipeline and being consistent about it. And one of the reasons for this is they don't really have a system in place. And I think that's something that's really most important for all of us because, you know, we're listing agents, we're entrepreneurs, we're self-employed. Essentially, we are starting our own little companies, our own little businesses, and if we don't have a system to supply that revenue stream, i.e. the listings, then it's going to be really hard for us to really figure out, okay, this is, you know, how are we going to get our next listing? I think a lot of it too has to do with the fact of the shiny object syndrome. You know, if you're ADD like I am, you know, there's always that shiny object. There's always that one thing out there that's going to turn your business around. It's going to be a new website template. It's going to be a new mailing. It's going to be a new piece of software. And it's all a bunch of hooey because you know damn well that all it's doing is distracting you from what you should be doing. And what you should be doing 80% of the time is finding listings so that you can sell them. I don't work with buyers. I never have really worked with buyers. And so my focus is all about listings because that's how you can make more money and really leverage your time. But I think not having systems, the shiny object syndrome, I think a lot of listing agents and a lot of real estate agents in general, quite honestly, are just sort of fear of rejection. And that is something that you really have to figure out a way to get over. If you want to jump on the phone with me and let's talk about that, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about. But you're in sales, dude. You are in sales. You need to get over the whole rejection thing every single day. I mean, if you're not being rejected 18 times a day, guess what? You're not working hard enough. So you need to get over that. That's what sales is all about. And most of the time, you're being rejected by people that you don't really know that well. If you're doing any kind of cold calling, you're calling out of area owners or, you know, even calling probate attorneys, whatever, chances are you don't really know them. So why are you getting upset about the lack of rejection? But let me talk about some of the few things that you should be doing and stay to the end because I've got the perfect system for you that you're going to definitely want to employ and you could do it on your own without paying me any money. But definitely get a system in place. You want to have something that you know you're finding 3 different kinds of listing streams, 3 different kinds of marketing strategies that you're using every single day. Start small, but you want to use those things every single day and then put systems in place around those so that you're doing them consistently. That's the most important thing. Is you got to do it consistently and you have to make it a priority. I have listened to some masters of excuse builders. Talking to listing agents all across the country. Mostly not agents that are joining my program because agents that are joining the Listing Collective are really motivated. They really want to change their business around. But the excuses that I see why people are not prospecting for listings, looking for listings every single day is just mind-blowing. But you definitely want to do another thing, and that is really stick with your SOI, your sphere of influence. That should be one of the 3 ways that you should be getting listings, okay, is working your sphere of influence. Your SOI is absolutely the most important thing that you could possibly have and work. And it's funny because I've said this story before. I have coaching clients that are killing it with door knocking. Who wants to door knock? Nobody. They're killing it with cold calling. Who wants to cold call? Nobody. I mean, they're doing all these amazing things. I think you have to be a genius to do SEO marketing and make that work. Facebook ads, make that work. But they won't go and call and talk to their sphere of influence. And they're leaving so much money on the table. I can tell you, after selling for over 30 plus years, a huge part of my business is working my sphere of influence, which even after 30 years, I do every single morning. I'm working that SOI like nobody's business. So you definitely want to have systems in place and make sure that you're focusing on your SOI and developing a habit. That's the other thing too. I think it's really super important that you pick one time during the day that you think that you have the most energy, that you're going to be the brightest, you're going to do the things that you know that you really don't like to do that much. They wrote a book about it called Eat the Biggest Frog First. I don't know if his name escapes me for some reason, but basically eating the biggest frog first means tackle your biggest chore first thing in the morning or first in your day so that you don't have that hanging over your head. And for most people, this daily habit's going to be in the morning. I know I personally, after I get up, do my meditation, I work out, eat a healthy breakfast, that's when I want to do my prospecting. That's when I want to do my marketing. I don't want to do it later in the afternoon where I have no energy. So you have to get into a daily habit. And then track your numbers. This is really important. A lot of real estate agents and listing agents are not really tracking their numbers. You know, how many calls are you making each day of your SOI? Or are you calling probates? Or are you calling out of area owners? And, you know, how many people answered? How many people did you actually have a conversation with? You know, the old saying in real estate is the number of people that you talk to every single day is usually equals the number of deals you're going to do that year. Who knows whether that's true or not. But the point is, you need to be talking to people, because if you're not talking to people, you're not going to get listings, if you know what I mean. So super important that you track your numbers, who you're talking to, how many appointments are you getting. Of those appointments, how many of them are you closing and signing listing agreements and so forth? Because then we could develop a system for you around that. And this is the thing that I think that a lot of people make the biggest mistake, a lot of listing agents make a big mistake on, and that is they don't really have a system. They have maybe one source of real estate listings, and it's probably maybe their SOI, their friends and family. Maybe they're doing probates, but they're only doing one thing. And that's a real big problem, because when I was an auditor with PricewaterhouseCoopers back in the day, if we saw a company that generated all their revenue from one source, we called that a concentration of risk. And it was a huge red flag. We don't want a concentration of risk for us real estate listing agents, because if that goes by the wayside and it doesn't start generating, it stops generating listing leads, you want to have other sources. So at least have 3 sources of listings. But get the system. And here's what I want to promise to you. We at the Listing Collective have a system. You probably heard me talk about it. It's called the MicroMomentumMarketing system. And it's a way that you can start new marketing strategies to find your own listings without buying those BS real estate leads. I'm not into buying leads. I'm not into spending money on listing leads or buying listings or anything like that. I don't even like to do any advertising. I run a really tight ship. I think the last time I checked, I'm at like 22% expenses of my gross commission income. The micro momentum marketing strategy is a way to start these new strategies to find listings, develop and master those 3, a minimum of 3 strategies, and get really good at it. Master them. And this is one of the things that I think is really important. I have not found another way for you that I can think of in the world for you to really master particular marketing strategies other than using the micro momentum marketing strategy. It's all about taking baby steps to make you a master at whatever that strategy is. And that's the big thing that I do with the Listing Collective is I don't tell you you got to do A, B, C, D, E. I don't force you to do anything that you don't want to do. I want to find 3 things that you will do, that you like to do, and because I know for a fact after 30 plus years that you're only going to do things that you'll like doing, and you're going to do those things consistently. And then let's double down on the triple M approach of the micro momentum marketing strategy and make you a master at those. Fill up your listing pipeline. Get consistent sellable listings so that you don't have the anxiety of where your next listing is coming from. So check that out. If you want more information on that, definitely hit me up at the link below. Let's jump on the phone and talk about how we can make you a top listing agent in your area. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.